Hello, and welcome to Dreamy Tales, a sanctuary where everyone can experience calm and a touch of magic before gently drifting into sleep. Tonight, we invite you on another enchanting journey, a story that helps soothe the mind and nurture a sense of peace. Before we begin, let's take a moment to prepare our bodies and minds for a comforting, restorative rest. Make yourself cozy, and with each slow inhale and long exhale, let the cares of the day gradually slip away. It's not always easy to step back from the day's demands, especially as night falls. Yet, remember, the less we worry about how quickly we'll fall asleep, the simpler it is for our minds to release any remaining tension. Allow the gentle flow of your breathing to wash away lingering concerns, and let the story ahead guide you into a state of deep relaxation. Now, settle in, and let the dreamy atmosphere softly wrap around you. Enjoy this story, and may you drift into a peaceful, restful slumber here on Dreamy Tales.
Conjure in your thoughts a venerable water mill, its structure of 18th century red brick crowned by a slender chimney ascending beside it. The mill stands sentinel over a placid pool, its surface a mirror to the quietude. This is Ashbrook Hollow. Here, our pilgrimage takes root. Imagine yourself poised upon gray concrete, the mill looming just ahead. Its narrow flue etches a line against the sky, while the adjacent water lies utterly still, a sheet of liquid silence. Today unfolds as a leisurely ramble through this particular corner of the Midlands, a landscape that nurtured the imagination of Alistair Finch, seeding the earth from which sprang portions of his children's tale, The Halfling's Hoard, and later, the grand tapestry of his fantasy cycle, The Sovereign Stone. These narratives, unfurling within the staggering fictional cosmos of Etherea, have struck a chord deep within so many souls. Small wonder, then, that The Sovereign Stone ranks among the most cherished book cycles ever conceived. Our walk commences here, at the mill, nestled within the verdant embrace of Oakhaven, a suburb southeast of the city's heart. From Ashbrook Hollow Mill, your path meanders past Finch's erstwhile childhood dwelling on Verdant Way. Then, journeying further south, you shall uncover the bewitching depths of Blackwood Mire, the very theater of Finch's youthful escapades. Ultimately, your exploration culminates in a stroll across the resplendent fields of the Meadowland Country Park. For now, though, a steady current of traffic flows on the road behind, a ceaseless, low thrum emanating from engines. Each passing vehicle trails a light caress of wind, the cool air a tangible presence against your skin. Thoughts drift through your mind, ephemeral as these cars. They cause no disturbance, no distraction. They merely pass. You are clad in lightweight, comfortable attire, a soft jumper knotted securely about your waist. Your sole possession is a compact rucksack holding essentials and a flask of water. A sense of lightness pervades, a freedom born from knowing nothing more is required. Ready to embark, you draw a little nearer the mill, keen for a clearer perspective. It resides 4 miles south of the city center, within the bounds of what was once the hamlet of Ashbrook Hollow, the very place that breathed life into the meadowlands of the Sovereign Stone. Finch himself spoke of Ashbrook Hollow as a sort of vanished idol. It was the sanctuary of his halcyon childhood, a realm he would traverse for countless hours. On this crystalline, sun-drenched day, the mill presenting such a painterly scene, the sentiment resonates deeply. If the halfling's hoard is familiar, the mill might stir recognition. Within its pages, references arise of the protagonist, Elrond Swiftfoot, passing the mill in Halflingdown. Today, Ashbrook Hollow Mill serves as a museum, housing a permanent Finch exhibit. Legend holds that while playing nearby, Finch and his brother were once chased away by the miller's son, a figure they dubbed the Flower Fiend, owing to his powdery coating from work. These encounters later sparked the creation of Gaffer Grumbles, a character in Finch's chronicles, also the offspring of a miller. In forging the enchanted world of Etheria, Finch drew deeply from the wellspring of people and places surrounding him. A pale timber fence contains Ashbrook Hollow Mill and its immediate environs. Just beyond it presses a dense thicket of dark green shrubs and trees. Through apertures in the foliage, the silhouette of the red brick mill emerges, its roof sharply peaked and red. A tall chimney presides over it from the rear. In the brilliant sunlight, the building and its verdant frame cast a reflection upon the crystal-clear mill pond. This watery image shimmers, subtly warped by delicate glistening ripples. The pond is renowned as the sanctuary for wildlife. Herons, mallards, and moorhens are frequent callers. In the distance, a dark avian shape lingers by the water's edge. You approach the fence, peering through the gaps for a closer inspection. The bird's strikingly bright red and yellow beak immediately captures your gaze. Its body is cloaked in ruffled black plumage accented with white, perched upon lime green legs and feet. A moorhen, surely, you deduce. You observe as it edges towards the pond, slowly beginning to buoy upon the water's surface. It appears utterly peaceful, carefree, bobbing contentedly with each soft passing ripple. The moorhen emits a high, sharp chirp of satisfaction. You watch it glide, swift as a water skier, across the pond towards the mill. Reaching a small, grass-topped platform, it uses its wings for a final push, propelling itself onto the bank. There it settles, finding repose beside the ancient structure. Witnessing the moorhen relax with such placid calm, you too feel a wave of ease wash over you, untroubled. You absorb the delightful tableau of mill and pond one final time, briefly closing your eyes to imprint it upon your imagination. Then, drawing a deep breath, you fill your lungs with fresh air, exhaling with a contented sigh. Turning leftward, you commence the walk towards your next landmark, Finch's childhood home. As you move, you fall into a steady, comfortable rhythm. High above, against the canvas of the clear blue sky, a bird beats its wings, journeying in the same direction. Could it be the moorhen? You muse, accompanying you on your pilgrimage. The thought coaxes a smile. Not long after leaving the mill's presence behind, You arrive at a bustling roundabout. Patiently, you wait a minute or two for a lull in the traffic. When the way is clear, you cross and bear right onto Verdant Way. A thrill of anticipation courses through you, knowing you cannot be far now. A fellow walker approaches from the opposite direction. You offer a smile and a nod as he passes, a gesture he mirrors in return. Before long, you stand before 264 Verdant Way, or 5 Gracewell, as it was christened then. Finch's family relocated here in 1896 when he was merely 4. It was his first Birmingham residence, now one of the area's most historic houses. You pause, absorbing its details. The mock Tudor dwelling stands at the forefront of a row of similar homes. A charming front garden features a wide stone path flanked by delightful patches of green lawn. The upper floor of the quaint 2-story building is rendered white, accented with dark brown timber strips lending it character. Below, the ground floor reveals exposed brickwork, punctuated by a white-framed bay window that protrudes outward. The house possesses a pleasing irregularity of form, with a pointed roof and a section that juts forward, sheltering the sturdy green front door. Like its neighbors, the property is enclosed by a low wooden fence with a gate. You ponder how many times Finch must have passed through that very gate, behind that green door. During Finch's tenure here, the surroundings were entirely rural. He often recalled this period as the most blissful of his childhood. As the sun casts shadows that pool around the houses, you try to conjure the scene as it might have been in Finch's era. A kindred happiness fills you, imagining those idyllic youthful days. Before Finch's house lies a verge of green grass bordering the pavement. At its center stands a tree, its leaves glinting like emeralds in the sunlight. The crowns of larger trees are visible just beyond the rooftops, swaying gently in the breeze. It's easy to grasp why Finch cherished his time here on Verdant Way. Even now, amidst the hum of passing cars, an enduring sense of peace prevails. Reaching into your rucksack, you retrieve your water flask. After a refreshing draft, you prepare to resume your adventure. The next destination beckons, the enchanting Blackwood Mire. To reach it, you cross the road and retrace your steps somewhat. After a couple of minutes, you arrive at a road branching off to your right. Following the pavement, you navigate more suburban streets before finally reaching the threshold of the mire. Blackwood Mire once served as a storage pool for Ashbrook Hollow Mill. Today, it exists as a park and nature reserve, with the lovely Cold Bath Brook meandering through its heart. This mire was the crucible for the old forest, bordering the meadowlands in the volume, The Fellowship of the Stone. Finch depicted the old forest as ancient, a remnant of vast, forgotten woodlands, a description that fits this woodland perfectly. On either side, the entrance to the mire is flanked by a congregation of centuries-old trees. They stand diverse in stature, form, and texture. Some rise straight and tall, others are contorted, leaning as if in conversation. Bark textures vary, some smooth to the touch, others appearing rough and gnarled. You venture a little closer. The deep, intriguing striations etched into their bark testify to their great age. Leaves upon the branches perform a delicate ballet as a light gust of warm breeze sighs past, creating a wonderful, susurrant chorus. Breathing in, you register the pleasant, earthy perfume, intensifying as you step into the mire proper. The park remains largely unchanged from Finch's time, save for the addition of a pale wooden walkway. It diverges in various directions, threading its way amongst the trees. Stepping onto the planks, you reflect that this area must have been a truly fantastic playground for Finch's childhood explorations. Further along the path, you spy two children clad in Wellington boots. They are paddling in the brook, much as Finch and his brother might have done generations ago. One child sends up a small spray with her left foot, scattering water droplets into the air. She laughs, stomping again, water sloshing over the tops of her boots. You smile, witnessing their simple joy, then proceed along the walkway. The sound of your shoes against the wooden planks creates a satisfying clip-clop rhythm. You focus on this sound as you walk, finding it calming, grounding. Soon, you encounter another group of children. They are engaged in climbing some of the more twisted and accommodating trees. One boy, perhaps 8 or 9 years old, successfully attains a sturdy branch and sits astride it. He beams with pride, clearly pleased with his accomplishment. The mire truly is a natural adventure arena for the young. Again, you comprehend Finch's deep affection for this place. You continue to trace the meandering pathway. Certain sections remain muddy and damp, shielded from the sun's full reach by the dense canopy. You tread carefully over the mud, the clip-clop of your footsteps momentarily transforming into a soft squelch. Just ahead, to your left, a set of wooden steps ascends to a decked viewpoint. Eager to perceive the mire from a different elevation, you head towards them and begin to climb. With each step, you draw nearer the ancient treetops. The sun's warmth feels stronger here, pouring through the interstices in the leafy ceiling. Looking upward, you see the sun glowing through a patterned quilt of clouds that has gathered in the sky. In this moment, standing calmly on the viewing deck, you feel utterly at ease. Below stretches a sea of green, trees, grass, moss. Occasionally, through gaps in the verdure, you catch glimpses of other figures moving through the mire, though their sounds are muted. It is profoundly peaceful on this deck. The only audible notes are the rustle of leaves stirred by the wind and the delicate tweets of birds perched on nearby branches. The mire is simultaneously intriguing and tranquil. What a magical place, you think. After a quiet interlude spent admiring your surroundings, you take another sip from your water flask. Feeling refreshed and prepared to continue, you descend the steps back onto the wooden walkway. You follow the path leftward until you reach a gate nestled amongst trees. Passing through and carefully securing it behind you, you find yourself once more on a pavement beside another busy road. Initially, the sound of cars feels intrusive. But soon, the return of this gentle background hum becomes strangely soothing. Once again, you are conscious of your thoughts drifting past, mirroring the traffic flow. You know that tranquility will soon return upon reaching the Meadowland Country Park. For now, you turn left and walk along the pavement, maintaining a steady pace. The blanket of clouds has dispersed, and the sun bathes your skin. The pleasant warmth is welcome after the shade of the trees. There's very little breeze now. The temperature is perfect for walking. During this adventure, you've entirely lost track of time, but there is no urgency today. You relish the freedom of taking as long as you please. At the roundabout, you turn left again, continuing along the pavement, keenly observing everything around you. Small birds flit in and out of the bushes lining the walkway, their movements like a choreographed dance. Then, a dog walker passes, their fluffy companion pausing to intently sniff the ground beneath the bushes. You offer a smile to both before proceeding, and you keep walking until a familiar landmark comes into view. On your left rises Ashbrook Hollow Mill, the starting point of this wonderful exploration. This time, however, instead of pausing, you walk past it and turn left through the car park. As you traverse the tarmac, you spot a pale wooden sign beside an opening. The words are indistinct from this distance, so you continue closer. Soon, they resolve. Welcome to the Meadowland Country Park. A sense of accomplishment washes over you, having reached the final stage of your journey through Finch's remarkable world. The park received its name in 2005, acknowledging Finch's deep ties to the locale. It stands as a nature reserve, tracing the beautiful valley of the serene River Cole for some 4 miles. Comprising wetland, grassland, woodland, and heath, the park teems with wildlife. Much like the mill pond, herons, mallards, and moorhens often grace its waters. You might even be fortunate enough to glimpse a kingfisher diving for its meal. As you step into the park, the sounds shift. Children's laughter drifts on the air, mingling with the soothing murmur of the flowing river. Before you stretches a vast, lush green field, extending far into the distance. A straight golden path cuts through the field's center, running parallel to the river. Vibrant pink, purple, and yellow wildflowers are mirrored on the water's surface, which glitters under the sun's gaze. Just as Finch portrayed the Meadowlands in his chronicles, this park is beautiful and idyllic. But it's not merely the river and the pathway that command attention. Along the field's left flank stands a solid wall of trees, forming a secure barrier, separating the park from the world beyond. These trees offer cool shelter from the sun, yet permit just enough light and warmth to filter through the gaps. The area beneath them looks deeply inviting, the perfect spot to pause and rest a while. With that notion, you yawn, stretching your arms, suddenly aware of a pleasant fatigue from the day's walking. Perhaps, you muse, it is time for repose. Stepping onto the sponge-like grass, you make your way towards the trees, slip off your rucksack, and sit down. Untying the jumper from your waist, you fold it neatly and place it on the ground. Resting your head upon the soft fabric, you lie back, allowing your arms and legs to fall into a loose, relaxed posture. Your limbs sink into the yielding grass beneath. The earth accepts your weight. Above, fragments of blue sky peek through the leafy canopy. You feel the warm sunlight dappling your skin. Very few clouds drift overhead. Your eyes begin to feel heavy, laden with sleep. You blink several times, attempting to remain awake to savor the blissful atmosphere. But before long, the effort becomes too great. Your eyelids gently descend. You begin to attune yourself to the symphony of sounds around you. The faint echoes of children's laughter, the gentle cadence of the river's flow. Then the rustling whispers of leaves in the breeze, the sweet, melodic calls of birds. These sounds lull you further into relaxation as your mind begins to drift, to dream. You take a deep breath in, releasing it with a sigh of profound satisfaction. Then, you reflect upon the extraordinary journey undertaken today. Near the beginning, the exquisite reflection of the mill in the pond, the moorhen observed at the water's edge. You recall Finch's childhood home, your daydreams of life within its walls. Then, the vivid memory surfaces, the deep peace felt upon the viewpoint in Blackwood Mire. But which part, you ponder drowsily, was the favorite? Perhaps exploring the mystical terrain of the mire, or maybe this very moment, resting here in the Meadowland Country Park. Whatever the answer, all thoughts are gradually receding, dissolving into the tranquil landscape born of Finch's world, and you know, with quiet certainty, that you can easily return to this sanctuary whenever a moment of calm is needed. Lying upon the grass, utterly still and at ease, your breathing slows, deepens, becomes quieter. You are enveloped in complete peace, and gradually, gently, you slip into a deep and restorative sleep. A soft percussion of rain whispers on your umbrella, a gentle rhythm accompanying your unhurried passage through the slumbering woodland. It's a day draped in drizzle, mild and breathing. High above, the ash leaves quiver, receiving each droplet with a faint rustle. Rivulets trace silver paths down the ancient bark of oaks, sinking into the damp, receptive earth. Though moisture hangs in the air, a surprising warmth cocoons you. One of those spring afternoons, redolent with the rich perfume of burgeoning life. Azure carpets of bluebells unfurl across the forest floor, their scent mingling with the sweet, pungent aroma of unseen wild garlic. Through the trees drifts the music of human connection, laughter and conversation, muffled by distance and damp air. These paths are old friends. No destination calls, no clock ticks. You halt, captivated by a common blackbird foraging across the uneven terrain. Its plumage, you observe, is no simple black, but a constellation of hidden colors, glints of amethyst, deep forest green, the blue of a moonless night. Perfect, miniature spheres of rainwater cling to its feathers like tiny jewels. The bird regards you for a fleeting moment, a shared acknowledgement of the day's quiet beauty, before vanishing deeper into the undergrowth. A kindred spirit, perhaps, finding solace in the woods just as you do. Beside the wide track, near a weathered tree stump, you pause. Eyes closed, you draw in a slow, deliberate breath, filling your lungs with the woodland's essence. Just as slowly you exhale, feeling the knots of tension in your shoulders and neck dissolve. A wave of quiet contentment washes through you. A profound gratitude for the pulse of life thrumming all around. Further on, the path diverges at a familiar junction. Straight ahead lies the pond, where cygnets might follow their regal parents across the water's surface. To the right, a track slopes downward toward wildflower meadows, promising the first flutterings of butterflies this year. Yet, instinct pulls you left, deeper into the wood's embrace. Here, the trees press closer, their canopy thickening, hushing the distant sounds of others into near silence. The trail opens unexpectedly into a sun-dappled clearing, a place seemingly absent from your memory's map, yet instantly welcome. A circle of lush grass lies cradled by more ash trees. Tucked to one side stands a small wooden shed, draped in tenacious ivy, though its deep green paint appears remarkably fresh. Its door rests slightly ajar, an invitation. Curiosity stirs. What secrets might it hold? Drawn forward, you approach the shed. Nearer now, you spy a gleaming brass plaque affixed to the door. Miniature panorama. Your hand reaches out, a gentle push, and the door swings inward without a sound, as if anticipating your arrival. This, you sense with a prickle of intuition, is no ordinary display. Inside, the space defies its external dimensions, stretching larger than expected. Cool shadows dominate, save for a single focused spotlight illuminating a long table. Beneath this beam rests the panorama, a meticulously crafted model landscape, a tiny train, a station, exquisite scenery evoking an idyllic corner of the English countryside. Rolling hills, dotted with sheep and cattle smaller than postage stamps, give way to a narrow lane lined with thatched cottages, their miniature gardens festooned with washing lines. A locomotive of deepest sapphire blue, coupled to 2 carriages, waits patiently at the diminutive station. Across from it, a tiny watermill beside its placid pond stands silent and still. Leaning closer, you absorb the details. In the village, a church with a sturdy square tower overlooks a green, where ducks, accompanied by impossibly fluffy ducklings, have gathered. Nearby, a greengrocer receives a delivery of minuscule bright red tomatoes. A milk float waits further down the lane. Upon the station platform, a station master, clad in shirt and waistcoat, leans casually against a lamppost. Tracing the railway lines with your eyes, you notice they don't loop back. They wind through the village, meander across the countryside, and vanish into a tunnel carved into a hillside. Where could such a mysterious passage lead? Then, something else catches your attention. A coin slot set into the table's edge. The mechanism, surely, to animate this world. But coins, you doubt you have any. Almost involuntarily, your hand slips into your pocket. Fingertips brush against a cool, round metal disc nestled in the very bottom lining. Strange, you have no recollection of it. Turning the coin over in your palm, your thumb traces its worn, cool perimeter, feeling the nicks and imperfections against your skin. The spotlight catches its surface, sending a delightful shiver down your spine. You guide the coin into the slot, closing your eyes as it drops. Inhale deeply. Hold the breath for a suspended moment. As you release it slowly, your eyes flutter open. You stand upon the platform of a railway station, somewhere deep in the English countryside. A glance around confirms the impossible. It's the very scene you were gazing down upon moments ago, now life-sized, tangible. The model world sprung into reality. Here, too, it's a warm spring morning, but the rain has vanished, replaced by cerulean skies. The sun burns away the last vestiges of overnight mist, and the air hangs still, fragrant with the scent of freshly mown grass. Moving a few steps away from the station's red brick facade, you step out of the shade, tilting your face to the welcome warmth of the sun. At the platform's far end stands a conductor, a woman now, dressed in a crisp shirt and waistcoat, her face lit by a broad, genuine smile. She offers a friendly wave. Two sharp, cheerful whistles echo from the engine, an invitation, clearly, to discover where this enchanted train might journey. You pull open the wooden carriage door and step inside. No sooner have you settled onto a plush seat of crimson velvet within your compartment than another whistle sounds. Plumes of white steam drift past the window. Peering out, you glimpse a heron descending with effortless grace beside the mill pond. As you watch, the train begins to glide smoothly away from the station. Soon, the mill and its reflective water slide from view. Beyond them stretch vast orchards, row upon row of stout apple trees reaching towards the horizon. Definitely a long way from the shed in the woods now, you muse. The trees are heavy with blossom, clouds of pink and white. You imagine the petals falling like summer snow, the first nubs of fruit appearing, swelling day by day, growing rounder, brighter, juicier. In months to come, these fields will bustle with pickers gathering plump green bramleys and speckled royal galas. But for now, the only sounds are the melodies of thrushes and blackbirds woven through the rhythmic click-clack of the steam engine. The carriage is warm, rocking gently as the orchards give way to pasture. The velvet beneath your arm feels soft, comforting. Your breathing deepens, slows, your body swaying in time with the train's easy motion. As the trees thin, the fields become manicured expanses of green. Cattle and sheep graze with lazy contentment beneath the brilliant sky. Beyond a low stone wall lies a cricket pitch. Figures in white emerge, ready to commence the day's play. The pitch slopes gently away, and past another wall, the grass dissolves into a pebbled shore beside a wide, meandering river. Willow trees lean over the water, their lowest branches trailing fingertips across the slow-moving current. You ponder their age, silent witnesses to the river's ceaseless flow, day after day, month after month, year after year. The engine's shuffling cadence slows as it follows the river's curve. You're close enough now to spot the occasional fish basking in the sun-warmed shallows. How lovely it would be, you think, to trail your hand through that clear, fresh water. Cool, soft, invigorating. You can almost feel the gentle tug of the current, the prickle of water against your skin. Soon, river and rails diverge once more. In the distance, a sandstone outcrop thrusts towards the immaculate sky. At its base, a dark opening, the tunnel, the same one that intrigued you in miniature. It looms larger, closer. Where will it lead? You press your face to the window, looking back as the track curves gently leftward. The glass feels warm against your cheek. Through a shimmering heat haze rising from the sun-baked earth, the entire village unfolds. River and cricket pitch, orchards and fields, church spire and mill. A portrait of perfect tranquility. With a final backward glance, you close your eyes and lean into the seat. Darkness envelops the carriage as the train plunges into the tunnel. You take a moment to scan your body, noticing any lingering tightness. With a single deep breath, any discomfort melts away. You feel grounded, your body pleasantly heavy against the plush velvet. A shift from profound darkness to a cool, ethereal blue light signals your emergence. Opening your eyes, you find towering spruce and pines mantled in snow, slipping past mere feet from the window, as if the magical train has traversed not just space, but seasons, whisking you from English spring to alpine winter. The trees part, revealing a breathtaking vista. The tunnel has delivered you to the floor of a wide valley, flanked by immense craggy mountains. A fresh, thick blanket of snow covers the field stretching between the tracks and the steep slopes. Above, heavy gray clouds promise more snowfall yet. Before you can absorb more, the trees close in again. But you notice the landscape scrolls past with decreasing speed. Leaving your compartment, you cross the corridor to peer from the opposite window. Here, snow-frosted boulders litter the ground beneath sheer, dark gray cliffs ascending towards the unseen sky. The tracks must be hugging the curve of another mountain. You feel the gentle pressure of the brakes as the train glides to a smooth halt at a minuscule station, little more than a concrete platform with a few bright red seats beneath a simple plastic shelter. This lack of structure affords an unobstructed view back down the valley. Before you, an expanse of untouched white snow stretches into the middle distance, great sloping banks of pine trees climbing the valley sides. The vast fields narrow towards a formidable cluster of mountains, their high, jagged peaks wreathed in swirling clouds. An urge to explore this snowy platform arises. You're still clad in the jacket you wore for your woodland walk, surely inadequate for this winter wonderland. As the thought forms, an overhead luggage rack pops open. A pair of thick black winter gloves tumbles out. Smiling, you retrieve them and investigate the locker further. Remarkable fortune. A knitted hat rests inside, white wool flecked with gray, alongside a long padded jacket. Slipping it on feels like being enveloped in a soft, warm duvet. You stroll towards the carriage end, pulling on the hat and gloves. Turning the cool silver handle, you step lightly onto the snow-covered platform. A satisfying crunch echoes underfoot. The powder is deeper than it looked. A slight breeze lifts the topmost layer of snow, sending it dancing in twisting spirals around your ankles. Your nose and cheeks tingle in the crisp alpine air. From this vantage point, the entire valley unfolds. These mountains, you realize, have stood here, silent and serene, for millennia. Their peaks remember Pangaea. They have witnessed countless sunrises and sunsets, and will continue their vigil for eons more. Their immense ridges and spines were sculpted slowly, patiently, by wind, water, and time. A profound lesson, no matter how immense, how overwhelming something seems, with enough time and persistence, little by little, transformation occurs. You pause, feeling a quiet awe, a deep gratitude for the majestic scene. Yet, enchanting as the view is, the warmth of the carriage beckons. Retracing your steps with another crunch, you climb back aboard. Moments later, the train resumes its journey. The forest thickens outside once more as you remove the winter gear, stowing it back in the locker. Just as you click it shut, the train enters another mysterious tunnel. Anticipation bubbles within you. Where next? Abruptly, the grays and whites of the mountains dissolve into a hazy oceanic blue. The resonant sound of heaving, rolling surf fills the carriage. You are now trundling along a track poised at the very edge of the sea. Between the water and the low cliff hugging the rails lies a sandy beach. Though the tide appears high, you are so close to the waves. It feels as though you could reach out and touch the spray. Standing, you slide open the carriage window. The cool, briny scent of the ocean floods your senses. A warm breeze gently ruffles your clothes. The sea stretches out, seemingly infinite. To your right, the sun hangs low, just above distant headlands reaching into the water. Its declining rays cast shimmering paths of light just beyond the breaking waves. A gentle splash catches your eye. Something resembling a light brown, furry cap bobs on the surface. Then another and another. What could they be? Now the small forms seem to float effortlessly on their backs. Recognition dawns. Sea otters, a rare and delightful sighting. These charming creatures, you recall, delight in diving into submerged kelp forests for sustenance, capable of holding their breath for minutes as they twist and play in the cool depths. They possess special pouches in their chest fur for storing food, nibbling on shellfish and clams while floating serenely. They are communal too. Groups or rafts often link paws while resting, swimming, or eating, ensuring none drift away. Families sometimes even use strands of kelp to tether themselves together. Out in the ocean, the otters float idly, observing the slow passage of your train. You blink, and in that instant, they vanish beneath the waves. Sinking back into your seat, your eyelids grow heavy. A sense of completion settles over you. Perhaps it's time to return. As if in response, the steam engine emits a soft whistle just as the train enters one final tunnel. You allow your eyes to drift closed. When you open them again, familiar orchards slide past the window. The air is cooler now, the sun resting low on the horizon. Streaks of lavender and rose paint the high, thin clouds. The unmistakable fragrance of springtime drifts through the open window. The day is gently closing. The rhythm of the wheels slows, decelerating as a recognizable village comes into view. The church spire, the silent mill, the blossom-laden trees. It feels like mere moments ago you were here. Yet stepping off the train, you sense the satisfying conclusion of a long, wondrous day. As the sun dips fully below the skyline, you close your eyes, inhaling deeply. Then, slowly, you let the breath go. Opening your eyes once more, you find yourself back in the ivy-clad shed discovered in the woods. Below you, petite and perfect, rests the magical miniature panorama. The shed door swings open on its own. Outside, the rain has ceased. The sun manages a final glimpse over the treetops. You can't have been absent long. The grass remains slick with moisture. Time to head home. Leaving the shed, you walk slowly across the damp grass towards the path you followed that morning. The sounds of the woods reassert themselves. Distant voices, laughter, the occasional call of a swan from the direction of the pond. As you reach the edge of the trees, you cast a glance back towards the clearing. To your astonishment, the shed is gone. No trace remains. Where the structure stood, only grass grows, tall and glossy, still beaded with rain. A smile touches your lips as you turn back towards the path. Perhaps, one day, you'll wander this way again and rediscover the enchanted panorama. You hope so, yet a deeper feeling suggests that if another such adventure is meant for you, it will find you in its own time. A blackbird, a twig held firmly in its beak, hops across the track ahead. Sunlight, piercing the canopy, creates dappled pools of light on the woodland floor, still glistening from the morning shower. With one final, deep breath drawn in and slowly released, you turn towards the comforting familiarity of home.